The system is broken. What the hell happened last night? Once again, the referee, the video assistant referee, and FIFA are under fire for a decision that has an entire nation convinced it was robbed. Once again, the big team got the call, and once again, the smaller side is flying home screaming that this World Cup is bent. Belgium wanted a penalty for a handball against Spain, and what happened next has fans everywhere pointing at the exact same pattern we have seen all tournament long. But here's the twist that makes this one so wild. The handball might not even be the most jaw-dropping thing that happened in Lowe's Angels. This quarterfinal had way more buried in it than that scoreline lets on. The illusion of control. To appreciate how little Spain actually did, you need to understand how completely they controlled the shape of the thing. This is a machine of a team. They came into this game on a 36-match unbeaten run, one single game short of Italy's all-time record of 37, and they played like it. 68% of the ball. More than 2 expected goals to Belgium's pitiful 0.38. Total territorial domination. On the half-hour mark, they got the goal that possession deserved, launching a lovely little subplot. Fabian Ruiz, a surprising start ahead of the brilliant Pedri, reacted quickest when Dani Olmo's shot was parried, stabbing in the rebound to celebrate a baby tribute ahead of the birth of his first child. 1-0. Spain in cruise control. But here's the quiet worry buried in that dominance. For all the possession, all the control, all the unbeaten records, Spain simply do not score enough. They have managed 11 goals in 6 matches, which sounds fine until you learn that 4 of those 6 games ended with them scoring 2 goals or fewer. This is a team that hoards the ball and then struggles to turn all that territory into anything that actually hurts you. Beautiful to watch in midfield, strangely toothless in the box. Hold that thought because it's about to matter. The breakthrough and the breaking point then, Belgium did something nobody had managed all summer. They scored against Spain. Kevin De Bruyne slid a clever pass through, and Charles de Ketelaere rose to plant a superb header past Unai Simon. To understand how rare that was, look at the number. It was the first goal Spain had conceded in the entire tournament. The first they had gone 650 minutes, a record World Cup scoreless streak, 5 straight clean sheets, without their net so much as rippling. And Belgium, of all teams on the ropes, broke it right on the stroke of halftime to make it 1-1. Which makes what happened to Belgium over the rest of the night feel almost cruel. You have to understand the state this team was in. They arrived at this quarterfinal already falling apart. They had lost the powerful Amadou Onana to a knee injury in the previous round. Then unbelievably lost Youri Tielemans in the warm-up an hour before kickoff to a tweaked hamstring. Belgium walked out already down 2/3 of their first-choice midfield engine, and the tournament wasn't finished with them yet. The defining blow of the night was Thibaut Courtois, one of the 2 or 3 best goalkeepers on the planet. He pulled up with a thigh problem, tried to push through it, and finally gave up in the 71st minute. The image was heartbreaking. Courtois, 34 years old, walking off reluctantly, wiping his eyes on his own shirt in tears, because on some level he surely knew what everyone watching knew, that his exit had just cracked the door open. De Bruyne would limp off with cramps soon after, leaving Belgium held together with tape and hope. In came Senton Lamens, the young Manchester United keeper, and the soccer gods, who clearly have a flair for the dramatic, went to work. In the 88th minute, Pau Cubarsí took a shot from outside the box. Nothing special. The kind of effort a top keeper gathers in his sleep. Lamens spilled it, fumbled it straight out in front of him. And there, arriving like he had been standing there the whole game waiting for exactly this, was Mikel Merino, who smashed the rebound home with what was only his second touch since coming off the bench. 2-1, game over. Semi-final booked. The ghost of a superstar. This is the pattern you cannot ignore, the thread that runs through Spain's entire tournament. Merino is a substitute. He came off the bench and did the exact same thing in the previous round, scoring the winner against Portugal. This Spanish side is winning games not through the superstar they built the team around, but through the bench, through the finishers, through the guys who weren't even on the pitch when it kicked off. Spain didn't conjure that winner with a moment of brilliance. Belgium gift-wrapped it, and Spain's super sub was quick enough to accept. Which brings us to the biggest talking point of Spain's whole World Cup, and it's not a happy one if you're Spanish. This is the tournament of the superstar. Everywhere you look, the biggest names on earth are delivering. Kylian Mbappé is chasing down Lionel Messi's all-time World Cup goal record. Messi produced a miracle comeback against Egypt. Erling Haaland monstered Brazil out of the tournament. Harry Kane has been banging them in. And then there's Lamine Yamal. The 18-year-old is supposed to be the crown jewel of this entire generation, the most hyped teenager football has produced in years. The kid Spain is built around. His World Cup goal tally? A single goal all the way back in the group stage against Saudi Arabia. Since then, nothing. 4 straight matches without a goal or an assist. His expected goals for the whole tournament sit at a modest 1.54. His assists column is empty. He is statistically the one genuine megastar at this World Cup who has not delivered. To be fair to the kid, there is real context. He tore his hamstring back in April and arrived at this tournament racing the calendar, maybe not fully sharp. And he is utterly unbothered by the noise, shrugging it off by saying, "If we win the World Cup, no one will remember whether I scored goals." He has a point technically, but with France next, Spain do not need flashes. They need the real thing. The shadow of corruption, but the moment everyone actually wants to argue about is the handball. Midway through this game, the ball struck Rodri's arm inside the Spanish box and Belgium erupted, certain they had a penalty that could have changed everything. Referee Michael Oliver waved it away. The VAR took a look and backed him. No penalty. In a normal World Cup, that is a 5-second talking point that dies by morning. This is not a normal World Cup. On the actual decision itself, Spain were probably not rigged, and Belgium probably were not robbed either. The ball did not fly across the box and smack an outstretched arm. It ricocheted off one of Rodri's own teammates from point-blank range, giving him no time and no chance to move his arm out of the way. By the letter of the guidance and the spirit of the law, no penalty is the defensible call. If this happened in a quiet, well-run tournament, most neutrals would nod and move on. But it didn't. This decision landed in the middle of the most scandal-drenched World Cup in living memory. This is the tournament where the President of the United States phoned FIFA and got a red card suspension lifted. Where Egypt filed a formal complaint accusing officials of handing Argentina the game. Where FIFA appointed an all-Argentine crew to a quarterfinal in the same week it was being accused of favoring Argentina. So when a 50-50 handball call goes the way of the big favorite, a massive chunk of the watching world does not see correct application of the rules. They see the pattern. They see the favorite getting the nod again, and Belgium, the smaller story, going home. Here is the uncomfortable truth underneath all of it. Whether or not that Rodri call was correct, FIFA has completely lost the authority to be believed. When you spend a whole tournament bending rules, ignoring complaints, and stacking officiating crews in ways that raise eyebrows, you forfeit the benefit of the doubt on everything, including the decisions you actually get right. FIFA has made every single close call look suspicious. Belgium's fans will go to their graves believing they should have had that spot kick, and no amount of technically correct guidance is going to convince them otherwise, because the institution asking them to trust it has given them 100 reasons not to. The ultimate clash, so where does it leave everyone? Spain march into their first World Cup semifinal since 2010, the year they actually won the thing, on a 36-game unbeaten run as one of the favorites to lift the trophy. But look at how they got here. Winning ugly, their superstar misfiring, one goal from a surprise starter and the other gifted by a substitute goalkeeper's blunder. Next up, on Tuesday in Dallas, on Bastille Day of all days, comes France. 6 wins from 6, the best attack in the tournament. Mbappé chasing history, sitting on 20 career World Cup goals, just one behind Messi's all-time record. He could equal or break the greatest scoring mark in the sport's history on Tuesday with a place in the final on the line. If you're a scriptwriter, you're already drooling. Yet Yamal, quiet tournament and all, is having absolutely none of it. Asked about the French juggernaut, the teenager didn't blink. "They can't be better than us," he said, pointing out Spain have beaten France every time they've met since the Euros. It's either the confidence of a champion or the bravado of a kid who badly needs to back it up with a goal. Tuesday we find out which. Belgium, meanwhile, fly home gutted. A team dismantled not by a better side, so much as by their own bodies giving out one by one, and by one spilled shot in the 88th minute. Still convinced the game turned on a handball nobody in Zurich wanted to see. Was the Rodri no call the right decision, or is it just the latest big team getting the big call? The debate will rage on, but France versus Spain on Tuesday might just be the best game of the entire tournament.